everybody, welcome back to At Home, where I meet and talk with other people at Cisco about how this crisis is actually affecting, what they do every day. We all know how interesting it is to, be in an environment where we have the chance to work remote as part of our daily job in most cases, or in many cases, but working remote this much can be really challenging for everybody. And so I really just want to get sort of the human side from everybody of what it's like to be at home all the time with family responsibilities and whatever that looks like. So today we're at home with Kate Shaw. Kate, how is it going?
Hey, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
Totally.
I'm really happy to be here.
Excellent.
It's going good. What a wild time we're living in, right? I mean,
Totally.
I don't think any of us could have ever expected that this is what 2020 would have brought us, but
Right.
I think, all things considered, I'm doing well. I am going a little bit stir crazy. I've got some cabin fever. Last night, I think I watched way too much reality TV, which is not usually my style, but anything to pass the time.
We've been finding ourselves,
right.
and you guys probably too, kind of going into the depths of Netflix and like, what other things am I finding in Netflix and Hulu that I never could find before? Because I got to watch something new.
Yeah, totally. And like last night, I took this like random personality test because I was just like, and like normally I would never have time to be like joking around taking a personality test at 8 p.m. at night. But without anything else to do, it was kind of interesting. Learning a little bit about myself, I guess, during this time too.
What'd you learn in the personality test? You can't just leave us hanging. Gotta complete the story.
Well, I'm what's called a campaigner, and
Okay.
I could read you. They give you this. It's totally free. It's called 16personalities.com, but it was just interesting because I'm like reading through it. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, this is completely me to a T. I read it to my husband. He's like, whoa, that's kind of weird. I'll send it to you after this. But it's interesting. There's like 15 different personalities, much like the ones we do with like Team Space or
Sure.
any type of personality test. They
Yeah.
kind of give you the different categories, but good to always know where you stand and get some self-realization in there.
Yeah, absolutely. We got to do something to kind of like try to better understand, not just like, like you said, kind of in a joking way, doing these sorts of things, but also try to figure out like what does actually work best for us right now. How do we find, I've talked about this with a few folks, but that idea of kind of a rhythm in our life between, work and personal passions and responsibilities, whatever. And kind of on that note, so are you in your home office right now, or is this the home office number 2?
This is my kitchen island that my laptop is on, and my living room is behind me. So, being in outside sales for a while, I felt like I had this like work from home thing down where I could kind of control, like when you first go into it, you're like, am I working enough? Am I not working enough? Am I working way too much? And chances are you're probably working longer hours because it just kind of keeps moving throughout your day. But I've grown accustomed to the life of, that I'm always home now, right? Instead of having the break in my day where I'm driving in front of customers, talking to my boss, talking to you, having one-on-ones with the team. And I'm a social human, so I really miss those types of interactions. Luckily for me and my husband, we moved out of the city about 2 years ago. I'm counting my lucky stars there because that would be quite the condensed area to be in right now.
Yeah,
and
I can imagine.
We've got our house, which we feel super fortunate. We do have an office, but it's usually like rock, paper, scissors during the day of who the office for each meeting. And
Totally.
This is a really important meeting, but Nick's in front of a customer on video, so he's got the office right now. So I'm like, I even did a little like sprucing up back there. You got to keep things looking
I'm
somewhat
not complaining.
tidy.
I love it. I was gonna say this is like for anybody who's watching, I'm like, this is like the most legit office space possible. Like, it's fantastic. I love it.
I know. I love it too. I mean, my dog's the real winner here. She has us both home 24/7, and either she's wondering why we haven't left the house, or she's just super ecstatic. So
How are you?
She's winning home.
With you guys, I think you've mentioned this to me before, but are you finding yourself able to like create a different sort of routine with like actually getting out of the house to do things, whether that's like, I don't know, taking the dog for runs or whatever? Like, what have you kind of found yourself refocusing on a little bit more now that you're at home so much more often?
Yeah, so I think there's a couple things that have been sort of changes for me and things I've realized that are different and I struggled with in the beginning of sort of when we went shelter at home. And one of those is like, I need to sweat or work out or have some sort of physical activity to one, sleep at night. I'm a ball of energy and I need to be able to like expend that somehow. And when you're staring at a computer screen the entire day, afterwards at like 5, 6 p.m., it's really hard to find motivation, especially with what's happening in the world. And so that used to be somewhat of my workout time. I'd have a day at work and I'd go and like just get it all out on the treadmill and, have some peace of mind there. And I realized that I'm just so exhausted by the end of the day. I kind of just want to like either go on a walk outside or disconnect from, having responsibilities. And sometimes I do look at working out like a responsibility. So I did change it up a bit, and I've been doing my workouts in the morning, and it's helped me kind of like start my day. And then I shower, I get ready like a normal day would be. It's a little bit later. Like I'm, joining meetings at 8:30 or 9, and maybe the ones from 8 to 9, I'm not on video yet because I don't know, being a girl, it's a little bit of a vulnerable feeling getting on video without, being somewhat presentable. Sure. And then I think that too, that I've struggled with is I lead a team, and I've always been a firm believer in like dress for the job you want, not the one you have, and show up. Like how you do anything is kind of how you do everything. And so it's been tough for me to kind of take that lower key work from home. Mm-hmm. I'm probably sounding super annoying right now because, why do you really need to get ready for the day? But it does give me some sense of normalcy to feel like, okay, I've started my day. And then when I go and like put workout clothes on after, or like comfortable clothes, it's like, okay, I have ended my day. And it's giving me some time frames that are a little bit more normal than just feeling like I've gone the entire day without even presenting.
Totally. Yeah. I'm so glad you called it.
So that's been helping a little bit.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm so glad you called it out. I've talked to a few other folks who are kind of the same way, and I've realized, or I've noticed that in talking to other people, how many of us don't recognize or have not ever thought that much about what you just said, which is having this routine, whatever the routine looks like for you throughout the day, to sort of like connect and then disconnect at whatever times those need to be. Whether the routine is, like you said, getting up in the morning, dressing for work, whatever that routine happens to look like, or, undressing for work and putting on the gym clothes, or going for the run at the end of the day, or whatever the routine is, like having that delineation between my commitments to work are now completed for today. I'm going to switch my commitments over to whatever else I want to think about. It can make such a huge difference in your mindset throughout the day, because if you don't do that, whatever it looks like for you, it can be really, really hard to stay mentally attached to the things that are actually important throughout the day. And you can very easily find yourself going, well, maybe that thing I needed to do at 1 o'clock isn't so important. Well, maybe I'll just go, go sit on the couch for a few minutes or whatever.
Yeah. It's like compartmentalizing your own brain to be around the things you need to accomplish today and giving yourself somewhat of a purpose. Like, I'm fortunate in this time where I don't have to play teacher or babysitter. I feel almost guilty sometimes thinking about it, and some of the things, I'm in awe of the just inspirational people on our team that have really embraced this. And, I'm sure at some levels, they're going crazy, but on the flip side of that, without having kids and it's just me and my husband, I'm looking for ways to keep my mind busy. Right. And to, not just watch TV or not just be only work. I think I'm guilty of this, where I can be a workaholic. I will work until, I just can't. Mm-hmm. Sometimes that's good, but sometimes, especially right now, it's like you've really got to look out for yourself too, and what you're doing to bring mental happiness and strength to yourself. And I think it's easier said than done sometimes. So I love that you've been baking. You're such a good baker. I'm so in awe of that. I've been
I don't know if I'm good. I'm doing it a lot, but I don't know if I'm good.
Are good. I've tried your sweets. They're delicious. So, but I've been trying to I've always loved to cook. It's kind of a decompressor for me, a little glass of wine, my time with the kitchen, and then you eat healthy too. And so I've tried to up my cooking game a little bit. Been trying new things out on the grill now that it's getting warmer and stuff. So that's been kind of fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. I mean, it's awesome to have whatever the routine needs to look like for you. And, I know you brought it up a minute ago, and I've heard this from other people too about like, well, some folks just don't have kids, or they don't have, their responsibilities, in their own life feel different. And I can very much empathize with the idea that like, well, I don't have kids, so my responsibilities may not be as important as their responsibilities. I don't know if you feel that way sometimes, but I've met people who definitely do. And they're like, yeah, but I sometimes feel guilty that I'm saying this is my responsibility, I need a break, but those people have kids, and clearly it's not the same. And you know what? I think that's a really good thing for you to call out, because it doesn't matter what your responsibilities are. They're all important. And yeah, they are different. I have, a 4.5-year-old at home. So we have, my wife and I have, different things that we do for our schedule that works for us. But that, it doesn't make it more important or less important. And I think it's really good for you to call that out, because I want people to understand. My hope is that people can give themselves permission to feel okay with whatever their routine needs to look like. And that doesn't make it good or bad, because it's not compared to somebody else. You have to just give yourself that permission. It's okay. Like, you are allowed to. So, to switch gears for a sec, one question I do have for you is, I don't know if you have any hobbies in general. I don't think we've talked about that a ton. I have an idea of what they might be, but have you developed any new hobbies other than cooking that you do now that you're in a quarantine mode?
Yeah, definitely. So one, this is not a hobby, but I feel like I've been cleaning the house every single day, because, with me and my husband both here, it's messy, and so that's been an uptick of time. But I think the new hobby, so last year I really tried out this whole gardening thing now that we have our backyard and house, and I did rather well, but I'll be honest, we lost some good men out there, right? And so there were some lost lives of tomatoes and cucumbers and some things, and it really came down to putting effort into it and continual effort. And so I've been really trying to up my game with that as well, with the gardening aspect.
Nice. That's awesome.
I have planter boxes out there, and I've been just planting new things, and I actually have started some seeds and stuff, and that's been kind of a fun project to keep me busy and excited. I'm seeing progression with the plants, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm not a total failure at keeping things alive. So that's a good sign.
That is super cool. I mean, I've seen your backyard before, and it's amazing. You've got a beautiful view, and I didn't notice that you actually had planter beds. So it's rad. I've heard more and more people wanting to do gardening, but that's really cool. I didn't know that about you. That's pretty awesome. Are you doing it? And
it gets you outside. Then you're outside and enjoying some of this beautiful sunshine. So.
Absolutely. It is so, I've noticed how important it is for everybody. I mean, I'm finding it for myself too. Right before we recorded, I went and took a quick walk, and I've learned I need to get my energy up routine. Whenever I'm going to go on video, now I have to realize I got an energy up routine I got to do, where I take a walk, I put on some music, and come back in. Okay. Now my energy is ready, because if I just sit here and do other things, you're not going to be prepped. And I love the idea of, maybe it's gardening. Okay, I'm going to go out and tend to the garden, the veggies for a few minutes before I come back and do this, because I need my mind to be in the right spot before I do this. And maybe getting super amped up isn't always the thing to do. Maybe it's, I need to go focus on something else for a minute so my brain's not too wrapped around the axle, or kind of whatever.
Yeah. You can catch me out there, on stressful days when deals are going sideways. I've just got the hose spraying the plants, totally disconnected from the world. But you brought up a good point though. And one of the things I've realized that I definitely need to put some effort into is just the aesthetics of my office situation. I love my office. It's great that we have it, but I'd love to have a desk that can go up and down. I'm a big stander. I like to kind of pace when I'm negotiating or in a really important call. And so I've been doing laps around my office, but it'd be nice to have a standing desk. Me and my husband have been talking a lot about that. And then I just really need to figure out this whole CBO into my DX thing, because I've used my DX over wireless, but it's not the best experience for other people because I'm kind of choppy. Comcast is only so reliable. But I think that opening thing, you sort of approach this new reality and what that looks like for everyone. I think that there's some good investments that could come from making your workstations just super nice, because there is a difference when you and I are in the Baz Cave or our office in Pleasanton. It's you just make a call really quickly, and we're so used to that. And I think that I can definitely get my office into a place where it could be a little better.
Yeah, for anybody watching, Kate's not kidding. We share an office in we share an office space in one of the offices for Cisco here in the East Bay, and so our team is called Bay Area Select, so we've dubbed it the Baz Cave, and we try to share it as much as we possibly can. But it is such a good point, because I got used to this personally. I got used to doing the remote thing and making this more comfortable for myself several years ago, because I lived so far away physically from most of my team and most of my customers that when I was on the road, I would be gone for the entire day. So the days I was working from home I was much more dedicated in the thing that I needed to get. I'm like, okay, I've got to make this a more usable space. But to your point, living in the city or living in the Bay Area proper and covering customers from Cisco's perspective in sales, when you live nearby, this space here isn't quite as, you don't have to put quite as priority on it because you can very easily go to an office because it's close by and all you need is probably right there. So what you have at home is like, oh, let's close the laptop and no big deal.
Yeah, for every other meeting or so. But, some of the big ones, and especially just like talking to the team, if I have like an outage or something, it can be dicey. So it's been good to know that everyone's going through that though. And I do think it's going to give some graciousness to the folks that do have a work from home atmosphere, where there could be interruptions. And like before, I think we would all kind of shy away from that. And now I sort of see us embracing it. Like, don't even worry about it. We're still getting stuff done. It's not a hindrance to us, and
Exactly.
it's nice to have people give that autonomy to themselves. So
yeah, absolutely. It's kind of really helping people. I think I've said it before, but really enabling people that we work with or work around to feel like they can give themselves permission to find that rhythm and whatever that looks like at home, whether it's sitting at your kitchen counter with your laptop and having a functional engagement on a cool video like this, of course, or being in your actual office with like a telepresence unit and doing a customer or client interaction or whatever, or as important, I think, and I've been trying to do this myself and, I've been hearing more about it, is like taking walking meetings. Like if I'm on a call or a meeting, do I need to sit physically at this desk or wherever in front of a video system for the purposes of this meeting? Maybe not. Maybe more often than you think, you can just put your headphones on.
It's flowing.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, do you really need to do all of this in some situations? Maybe not. Getting out of the office for a little bit to go take a walk while still being productive, that's a kind of multitasking I think that's really healthy for people. I mean, trying to multitask physically in front of your desk, it's not always great because you can't actually multitask real well. No one can. But taking a walk while on a call, I think
Totally.
that's great. Like that's a good get your
We
energy.
used to do it at the office too. Like when you'd walk over to the lunchroom or something, you'd be on a call, and
Exactly.
it's funny, you don't even realize the little breaks you took during the day when we were not shelter in place, and it's good to incorporate those, I think, still in your day today.
Yeah, absolutely. Right on. Okay, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it, and we'll talk again here real soon.
Oh, it was my pleasure. Thanks for having me. Talk to you
Absolutely.
soon, Jeff.
Absolutely. Well, thank you everybody for joining another episode of At Home. We'll be back next week with more interviews and more conversations. Have a great day. Cheers.